How's everyone doing again today? Welcome back to yet another edition of Tuesdays with Tim as we take a look at a market that is finally running into maybe a little bit of trouble here. I got the S&Ps up here. You can see briefly traded above that 6,000 level. We're now back below it, but making a run up towards it again. We really haven't broken back down below that kind of support level. Tested it here, held, tested it here, held. So certainly stocks not feeling too much of a negative effect, holding the 20-day moving average as well. We're seeing the S&Ps, which were down on the opening, now going positive. This is a market that seems to just want to head higher. We shall see. Interesting enough, the S&P is now doing a MACD sell signal, though, as that goes negative after getting to kind of overbought levels previously. So the markets we've talked about ad infinitum, certainly rich on a valuation basis. S&P 500 price to sales ratio now well over 3 times. Price to earnings pushing above 30 for the first time in a while. So earnings had better continue to come out stronger actually than they have been this quarter to support it, especially given the fact that the Fed is kind of jawboning that the Fed funds rate might not be cut quite as much as thought. 10-year yield still well above the 4% level. So things not leveling off on the inflation side, and certainly earnings growing, but not at the pace needed to really justify what is pretty lofty stock valuations. For the time being, no one cares, and for the time being, no one really cares too much about certain stocks. One of our remaining trades we have on IONQ, this stock just continues to rip higher here. We actually got out of half of it for a gain to basically kind of almost pay for the overall trade. So we're left with those December 12.5 puts. We need a major pullback, right, on this. But it wasn't too long ago, right, that the stock was down around that kind of 15 level after, a big rally, right? And now we're seeing it push even higher. Yesterday saw a pullback bounce. Today we're seeing a bounce yet again. So we're looking to kind of hedge the remaining half. Not a lot to be done with it. IONQ, like I said, we have the December 12.5 calls that are trading about a dime. We got out of half for a profit. Should have, in hindsight, obviously just gotten out of the whole thing and gone bull taco long IONQ. But that's the kind of world we live in, where these stocks that continue to rocket higher just simply because they are in, I guess, the right industry. So that's our kind of remaining one out there. Tesla, we do have a trade. We came out with a new one on that. Basically trying to take advantage of the fact that this stock is another one, right, that had gotten up and pulled back, and it looked good here. Now they're trying to make another run higher. We're short that December 370, 375 call spread. We'll see if that one works out right. It's almost, we still have plenty of cushion, right? Up here is where we get in trouble on Tesla. This is a stock that certainly has gotten over exuberant, right? Based on, everything kind of Trump and by correlation Musk related here. But I think eventually you're going to need to see the company actually start to make some decent money, but for the time being, they're thinking, that's no problem for now. So, so far, still not threatened on the trade. It's good, I think, to take advantage of the fact that implied volatility, which we can kind of look at down here, is at the highest level we've seen in a very long time, even post earnings, right? And earnings were decent, but again, you're looking at, we won't even talk valuations on Tesla because that's rather superfluous to even talk about that because it really doesn't matter. But we'll look to, if we need be, sell some shorter term put spreads if we want and need to hedge our longer term DC call spreads. So we'll hang on to that. We're looking for new trades. This is a market that continues to just kind of befuddle traditional sort of metrics. is going where it wants to go. We'll look to take advantage, I think, of more of the option order flow, right? And then we did come out with our DJT to take advantage of implied volatility, selling a December 6th 40-42 call spread, very tight, right? And just looking basically for DJT, which came out with news they're looking to buy Backed, which is a almost defunct crypto exchange. So again, this is a market that you continue to get this kind of just, I don't want to call it nonsensical, but just non-traditional sort of way stocks are trading here, at least for the time being. We'll see how long lasting it is, and we'll see how long lasting, with interest rates up where they're at, valuations can stay here or not. But selling the December 6th 40-42 call spread, and we have this week's and next week's expirations on the weeklies to hedge if need be by selling put spreads against our bearish call spread. But you can see every time DJT basically poked above 40, it was for a very brief period of time. The last time here it was intraday, where it got traded 45 and change, closed lower, right? Reverse course to close basically at 34 bucks. So it seems like every time you get this rip on DJT, you get the pushback. That's why we chose that 40-42 strike and keep it tight, because God knows DJT can certainly move crazily, right? You're looking at a stock that moves, 10 to 15% a day. Commonplace implied volatility, as we talked about, pushing towards extremes as well. Even though it's come down sharply, right? You're still looking at an IV of well over 150, which may not be ridiculous levels, but certainly is in the world of IV extreme, to say the least. So we'll be looking to put on more positions. The unusual option activity, I think is really kind of want to focus on. Again, is starting to come back into play as some of these crazy stocks in our famous one on App Lovin' now, that stock $300 and almost $20, right? So I'm just staying away from that. The stock just continues to cruise higher. For what reason? Really not sure, except it's going up until it stops going up. So we'll stop getting in the way of it and let the market kind of tell us when it's time to take advantage of that. Same thing with like IONQ, right? Which certainly has exploded higher as well. So with that said, let's see if we have any other questions out there or not. Not seeing anything there, so we'll look to wrap things up here. Have a good rest of the trading week, everyone, and as always, look for your inbox. We are absolutely looking to get back to work in a big way here. Now that the market is kind of leveled off, and we'll see what happens with valuations, hopefully coming at least to some value, right, going forward. So until next time, as always, here's the good trading. Take care.